Chapter 7. The First Form of Contemplation. The practical person has gone through a unique journey. They've focused their mind, remembered things, reflected deeply on themselves, calmed their busy thoughts, and quieted their restless emotions like anger and desire. They've also consciously chosen to approach life with a sense of selfless love. All of this has brought them closer to understanding a greater, more profound existence that surrounds them, which they've been ignoring for a long time. In their own way, they've achieved something similar to what heroic truth seekers like monks, nuns, spiritual teachers, indigenous healers, sages, and prophets do when they purify themselves and adjust their perspectives. These seekers work to break free from self-centered thinking and attain a broader life perspective. Now, the practical person might start to experience some of that same enlightenment and heightened awareness that these seekers claim comes from a liberated consciousness. This process of enlightenment will happen gradually. It doesn't depend so much on adopting a specific philosophy or suddenly gaining new insights. Instead, it relies on a continuous transformation and expansion of your character, a steady growth towards understanding reality better and aligning your life more deeply with the larger patterns of existence. This enlightenment will expand in both breadth and depth as your capacity for intuitive empathy and love for others grows. Just as your empathy and understanding can be limited to just your immediate family, extended to your coworkers, your social group, your city, political party, country, or even the entire human race until you feel fully connected to and in sync with all of it. This process works similarly. This merging with a larger consciousness is a gradual journey that depends on gradually letting go of your own limitations. The realization of true reality that comes from it is also a gradual process. Essentially, it's a continuous movement towards a limitless, divine awareness where the barriers that separate you from others are removed. It's an ongoing process of expansion and simplification, which essentially means growing in love and a deep sense of connection, like a blossoming love for one's own country. By consistently breaking down the barriers of individuality, willingly submitting to the rhythm of a larger existence than just your personal self or even your human group, by continually broadening, deepening, and shifting your focus away from yourself, you are expanding your horizons and becoming a citizen of a broader, more joyful, and more profound world. You become a partaker of a richer life. The limits of this expansion are unknown. Even the most enlightened thinkers, returning from their deepest insights, can only describe a world without boundaries. This process of growing and expanding your contemplative awareness, although it's continuous and always changing, needs to be broken down into clear stages or levels so our rigid minds can understand it. So let's think of it as progressing through 3 distinct phases of reality. We've agreed to call them the natural world of becoming, the metaphysical world of being, and the highest one, the divine reality, where opposites are united. Even though these 3 layers of experience are interconnected, with glimpses from deeper levels reaching us through the natural world, it's helpful to think of them in this order as you consider your own journey toward full human understanding. Trying to avoid nature, rejecting its companionship, and attempting to bypass life's challenges in the hope of finding God on the other side is a common mistake made by some misguided mystics. It's just as harmful as the opposite mistake, which is deliberately stunting your personal growth and settling for an increased sensitivity to the wonders of natural life, becoming what's called a nature mystic who seeks nothing more. Start by focusing on the first type of contemplation, which old mystics sometimes called discovering God in His creations. Don't dive into ecstatic experiences or supernatural realms. Instead, begin with a loving and patient exploration of the world right in front of you, the world that's part of your everyday existence. It's like understanding the constant rhythm and power of life that you're a part of. Take small steps to break down the barriers of your own ego until you can embrace all of existence with a sense of intuitive love. Eventually, you'll see in every form of life, even those you may have labeled as cruel or obscene, an intense expression of the divine presence that also resides deep within your own soul. Indian mystics often refer to the visible universe as the Leela, or God's play, the infinite expressing himself intentionally in finite forms, a joyful creative expression. They believe that gracious and considerate souls willingly participate in this divine play, focusing more on the wonder and achievement of the whole cosmic spectacle rather than their personal victories, disappointments, and weariness. In the first form of contemplation, you should understand the dynamics of this cosmic game in which you've been a somewhat passive participant for a long time and discover your own role within it. It's like a constantly evolving and flowing game, creating unexpected patterns within the unfolding melody of God's creative thoughts. Everything in this play is unfinished and constantly changing, just like you. Your fellow humans, whether enduring battles, living in slums, seeking adventure or knowledge, indulging in sensory pleasures, or aspiring to purity along with the natural world, hills, trees, rivers, birds, insects, and the tiny life forms in the grass all join you in this play. They interact with each other in delicate, responsive ways, sometimes intense, sometimes gentle, sometimes in conflict, sometimes in harmony. Yet they are always part of a ritual dance, following the music of an invisible conductor recognized by mystics like Brahma and Plotinus. What is this magnificent force that blows continuously and harmoniously from outside? It's a part of you, practical person. There's only one universal music, and you contribute to it constantly, whether you realize it or not, with your unique, albeit small, contribution. Mad with joy, life and death dance to the rhythm of this music. The hills and the sea and the earth dance. The world of man dances in laughter and tears. Khalil Gibran. It's a shame to not know about this and to keep a kind of barrier between yourself and your fellow humans who are also evolving and changing alongside you in their understanding of God. It's like isolating yourself like a solitary cat and not engaging with others. So start right away. Gather your focus just as you've learned to do through recollection exercises. Shift your attention away from the small and personal matters of your life. Instead, get ready with a poised and alert mind for the task ahead. Choose one of the countless forms of life around you, the ones you usually overlook unless you need them. Don't try to bring their image closer to you. Instead, reach out to them with a genuine act of loving intention. Be deliberate, even passionate in your attentiveness. Your attention should become so absorbed that you forget about yourself as a separate observer, focusing entirely on the thing you're observing. This is the key to success. It doesn't matter what you choose to contemplate, whether it's a mountain or a tiny insect. What truly matters is your attitude. Everything in this world is connected, and if you understand one thing deeply, it can lead you to understand everything else. Take a moment to observe even the scruffiest street cat with a contemplative mindset. You'll see a sort of heavenly essence surrounding it, like a halo around its raggedy ears, and you might even hear a glimpse of something celestial in its loud meow. The deep, enthusiastic joy, the rapture of the hallelujah sent from all that breathes and is. William Wordsworth. Even the dirty tree that a squirrel climbs to get away from your watchful eyes is sacred. It holds the entire divine cycle of seasons for you, and in its stillness, you can hear its inner rhythm. But when you look at these things, treat them like you'd look into a friend's eyes, with passion, without selfishness, without thinking about their reputation, practical uses, physical characteristics, or what problems might surface if they were analyzed psychologically. Engaging in this straightforward exercise with sincerity will reward you soon enough. By quietly and attentively connecting with the world around you, you'll uncover a much deeper connection than you might have ever thought possible between yourself and the things you perceive with your senses. You'll find a profound meaning, a personal essence, and even a capacity to respond in these sensory objects, which might seem strange if you think about it in a detached way. As you establish these connections with the things sharing your journey, you'll come to understand what Walt Whitman meant when he said, "You air that serves me with breath to speak, you objects that call from diffusion my meanings and give them shape, you light that wraps me and all things in delicate, equable showers. You paths worn in the regular hollows by the roadside. I believe you are latent with unseen existences. You are so dear to me." Your spirit will subtly blend with the spirits of those unseen existences you're now feeling so deeply and profoundly. The boundaries that used to separate you will disappear, and you'll realize that St. Francis was not only charming but also correct when he referred to Brother Wind and Sister Water. Likewise, Stevenson was undoubtedly right when he said, "The world is so full of a number of things, I'm sure we ought all to be happy as kings." These joyful and vivid things around you will start to communicate with you. They'll provide you with news that's as real and believable as what the news is reporting. Direct messages from the beauty that artists can only capture indirectly. Because you've become more sensitive, you'll hear anthems from every corner, and you'll see poems of incredible beauty sprouting from every weed. Even more importantly, your fellow human beings will shine with new meaning and brightness. You'll feel humility and awe when you encounter the beautiful and patient individuals among the poor who silently endure and embrace the burdens of life. Every member of the human family, from children to the elderly, from those who embody energy to those dedicated to skill, thought, service, or prayer, will take on fresh and vibrant significance as if they're a part of your broader existence. Every daring endeavor, every experience of pain and play, and even the constant struggle of everyday life that forms the foundation of society, along with all the futile hopes, passions, and loves that run through it all, you'll finally see and feel them as brimming with glory and profound meaning. You'll perceive them with pure, attentive, selfless eyes and experience them as infinitely meaningful and lovable parts of the larger, transcendent whole in which you are also immersed. Discovering your kinship with all living beings and humbling your proud ego to merge with the vast and generous flow of life represents a significant step in understanding the science of love that contemplation teaches. Don't mistake it for mere whimsical thoughts about nature that imaginative people might enjoy, and definitely not for a self-conscious and calculated form of humanitarianism. It's a real state of awareness, a direct perception, not just an opinion or an idea. For those who achieve it, their sensory perception expands. They live in a world that's illuminated with a more intense light, as George Fox once emphasized, and it has a different, more profound essence. They can hear the delicate symphony of growth all around them and witness the new color spoken of by mystics. Furthermore, you'll notice that this action and the proper attitude that goes with it are quite distinct from the focused attention you practice during meditation, even though they may seem similar at first glance. During meditation, you are encouraged to hold an idea or mental image from the common pool of conceptual labels that humans have used to describe the universe. Now, you'll shift away from these labels and instead open yourself up to the direct message that the thing itself is sending to you. Before you were contemplating, now you are absorbing. This experience will be, in the truest sense, the experience of sensation without thought. It's the essential sensation, the kind of savoring that some mystics invite us to explore, and that our limited physical senses provide only a fleeting glimpse of. In this intimate communion, in this act of simple seeing, where you surrender entirely to the impressions of things, you are fully utilizing your sacred sensory powers by concentrating on them and accepting their input without overthinking it. In this contemplative perspective, you've taken the unique methods of artistic perception to their highest level. As a result, the sensory world becomes for you what Erigena described as a theophany, or a direct appearance of God, not a mere symbol, but a real manifestation. You've embarked on the Plotinian journey from multiplicity to unity, and as a result, you begin to see the clear and actual presence of the one in the many, the unchanging and absolute life expressing itself through countless emerging, evolving, and fading lives. Poets who have gazed deeply at something as simple as a flower in the crack in the wall, or a green thing blocking the way, have been led into the very heart of its existence, where they have uncovered the secret of the universe. The act of deep observation and reflection allows poets to connect with the essence or the core of these seemingly ordinary things. In doing so, they can unravel profound truths or insights that extend beyond the specific object or scene itself. The idea is that by focusing intensely on the details and the unique qualities of something simple, poets can uncover universal and timeless principles or ideas that apply to the broader scope of life, the universe, and existence. In essence, this celebrates the power of poetry and the poet's ability to find the extraordinary within the ordinary, to reveal hidden truths in the mundane, and to offer a deeper understanding of the world and the mysteries of existence. It underscores the notion that great poets can transcend the surface and, through their words and observations, bring to light the profound and hidden aspects of the universe. All of this is used to illustrate to us how we, like poets, might closely examine anything at all, and come away with an inner expansion. Many of the most significant poems by Wordsworth and Walt Whitman, for example, are attempts to put into words and rhythms the direct contemplative experiences they've had. They hope to convey the secrets of these experiences to others. Blake's philosophy, on the other hand, is a passionate effort to persuade us to shift our attention away from the false world of nature, which we usually perceive and which isn't truly nature at all, to the real world, which he somewhat confusingly called imagination. For these poets and thinkers, contemplating the world of becoming took on an intense form we call genius. Even reading their poems makes you feel a heart beating and a joy rising that's greater than anything you've known. But your own small efforts to reach this level of consciousness will, at the very least, give you a deeper understanding of their works and those of other poets and artists who have drawn from the wellspring of the spirit of life. You now see that their works are the only artistic creations deserving of the name realism. You will now judge them based on reality, recognizing in their expressions, which you may have once dismissed as mere rhetoric, the sincere attempts of those with clear vision to accurately describe things they truly saw in that simplified state of consciousness that Blake called imagination uncorrupted. From those purified and heightened levels of perception that the first form of contemplation leads the soul to, Julian of Norwich, while gazing at something as tiny as a hazelnut, saw the essence of all creation. In that small and seemingly powerless form, she perceived the regal nature of life, both in its grandest and most humble manifestations. Life in its entirety appeared to her as a direct result of, and humbly dependent on, the energy of divine love. She sensed the fleeting nature of its apparent existence and the enduring reality in which it is held. She marveled at its persistence, understanding that it endures because God loves it. She realized that everything exists because God loves it. Florence Nightingale, one of the greatest and most balanced contemplatives of the 19th century, reached a similar understanding of reality. She sought to connect each finite expression with its origin, searching for an inner significance in every fragment of life. In a moment of self-reflection, she exclaimed that she must strive to see God in her friends and God in her cats. Achieving this state is not about tormenting yourself with introspection and self-conscious striving. Instead, it's about having an unwavering intention, a diligent commitment, a simple and loyal surrender to the powerful currents of life. It's about holding on to the results you've achieved in your best moments. This surrender is not weak or passive. It's deliberate, a trustful giving of yourself, a living faith. It's a pleasing stirring of love, as mentioned in The Cloud of Unknowing, not a desperate and anxious struggle for more enlightenment. True contemplation can only thrive when you avoid two extremes: quietism, which is passive resignation, and spiritual fuss, which is excessive anxiety. It gains nothing from either of these. Although the path may be long and the material of your mind may be stubborn, if you are a passionate seeker of reality, ultimate success is certain. The powerful current of transcendent life will inevitably enter and uplift the consciousness that is open to receive it. It is a subtle but real external force responding to each determined internal effort. As Eckhart put it, your opening and his entering are but one moment. Therefore, when you set aside your preconceived notions and your self-centered priorities and allow intuition to guide you, you unlock new layers of the world. This act of opening up is the most practical of all activities. Only then will your everyday life and the natural world around you reveal their richness and meaning. The paradoxes and inequalities you encounter will be seen as true elements of their beauty, and even the most ordinary scenes will unveil an unimaginable splendor. At that point, you'll escape the narrow perspectives of self-interest and start to grasp the full potential of your senses. I swear the earth shall surely be complete to him or her who shall be complete. The earth remains jagged and broken only to him or her who remains jagged and broken. Walt Whitman.